Good evening, everyone. It is your girl, Marcie Thomas, here for another episode of Live Well, Sister. And I can see as you all are coming in the room, you are already liking and loving this, and we haven't even gotten into the good yet. So I definitely do appreciate that. I appreciate everyone for joining us this evening and also watching in the replay, because I know this is something that everyone's going to want to share and watch later and all of those great things, because we're about to dive into a really wonderful conversation with someone that I actually know in real life, in real time, because we are colleagues at my day job. As you often heard me say, I have a day job. So I'm really excited to be able to have her in this space and have a wonderful, wonderful conversation. So as you were watching at the beginning, you could see that this show is always about a multitude of things, whether we're talking about spiritual life, or our purpose, our careers, being in relationships, serving the community, all those things. And as I was thinking about our special guest this evening, I realized she is really hitting it on all of those cylinders. So she's really going to be a great guest for us to talk to. So the she that I'm talking about is Yolanda Williams, who proudly wears various hats as the founder of She Do Graphics, working with big names like DeKalb County School System and Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. She is the National Field Director for incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women at Girl Trek, where we work together, and where she advocates for and represents those women. She is also a stock and crypto mentor investor and the president of Millionaire Divas LLC. She is also a highly skilled barber specializing in cuts for autistic and special needs children, and the co-founder of the I Am the Evidence online apparel store, which recently launched. And if that's not all, on top of all of that, she is the co-host of the Lesbi Transparent podcast with her love, Daria Lewis. So with no further ado, let's welcome Yolanda Williams to the stage. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm excited. To be
Yes, I am really excited to have you here because, as I mentioned in that intro, you see I'm smiling, I'm gushing, just because I really think that you are a wonderful, powerful person, and I want people to get to know you and to know about your story, begin to follow you, shop with you, all of those wonderful things. So where do we begin? So Yolanda, I know that you are originally from Alabama. So tell us a little bit about your growing up in Alabama.
Yeah, I'm originally from Tuskegee, Alabama, and then I moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. My mom's side of the family is from Tuscaloosa. No, my mom's side of the family is from Tuskegee. My dad's side of the family is from Tuscaloosa. So I grew up in Tuskegee up until like the 6th grade.
Okay.
And then my mom was in an abusive relationship, and she got the courage one night to pack up the Mustang 65 convertible.
Okay.
Brother, in the middle of the night, and drove to Tuscaloosa where my dad was. And I'm grateful that my dad allowed my mom and us to come in and stay. And eventually they got back together.
Okay.
Yeah, they got back together. So I spent the rest of my time in Tuscaloosa until it was time to leave the nest.
All right. And your bestie has a comment for you. My bestie is absolutely phenomenal. I'm so proud of you. But thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, sis. But yes, your dad was a minister or a pastor. Is that correct?
Yeah, my dad was a minister and a pastor. He started minister, assistant pastor, and then over time, him and my mom established their own church. It was kind of different from the way we grew up in the Baptist church. They over into non-denominational and opened it up to a very diverse community. So I grew up not really knowing about Black history.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's hard to believe.
I learned a lot about my history and ancestors as I became an adult.
Wow. So growing up as a PK, what was that like?
Oh my God. And I was the oldest.
Ooh.
It's not life. because there's so many expectations. Everybody knows who you are. I remember one time coming home from college, and I called myself, because I'm in a gay lifestyle, lesbian, I called myself gonna go to one of the clubs in the city. And I wasn't gonna go home till the next day.
Okay.
When, lo and behold, I get home on a Tuesday, go to the club that night, and go home that Wednesday. And my mom was like, "You been here since yesterday?" I was like, "Well, how did you know?" So growing up as a preacher's kid, everybody know who you are.
Right.
And all eyes are on you.
Right.
And because my parents, so many people knew my parents as far as ministry, all the outreach work they did, being on the radio station, everybody knew them. So if one of them Williams kids did something, they were going to know it too. And I believe that my parents had a real connection with God, because there were some times that I did some stuff that ain't nobody told them but God. I'm like, how you know? How do you know? So being a preacher's kid was not easy. The first time I got drunk at home, they were going to a prayer meeting and walking around the house with a 6-pack of Budweiser like I'm grown.
Wow.
And I'm drinking all through the house, talking on the phone, drinking. And I only think I got through like 3 beers. And I went and hid them under my bed, way back in the middle. My dad, they came home. My dad went around the bed and looked under the bed. I was like, hey, God told on me.
Wow.
So I knew that he had a very special relationship and connection with God. And by me being the preacher's kid, I knew that there was something expected of me. And I was afraid to fail.
Right.
So with all eyes being on me, it was a whole lot of pressure. And as soon as I was able to graduate high school and leave home, I left. And I ran from God. Grew up with.
Right.
And come to find out, I was running from the God that I grew up with, but I was actually running with the God of my own understanding.
Woo! That's a word right there.
The God that I grew up with banished and didn't like and didn't approve of, and I was going to hell for my lifestyle and my behavior, things I did. But the God I was running with accepted me. And what I did, continued to protect me, continued to watch after me. Like he was my God that I was running with, the one that I understand and understands me, he was there the whole time. He was there the whole time.
And I love that, Yolanda, because we know, you and I are in the same age group. So things are different now than what they would have been when you were coming up. I mean, even now, sometimes children or young people in the LGBTQIA+, I got them all in, community, they struggle because their families don't want to accept them and all these sorts of things. And, for you, this would have been some years ago. So being the preacher's kid, how was that for you in the church and even within your own home?
Well, I didn't openly talk about it because I wasn't quite sure. I did go on dates. I went to a prom with one of my high school friends. I did it because that's what was socially accepted. But I knew in the 7th and 8th grade that attraction was women. Right. But I couldn't talk about it because, one, I didn't understand it. And I really didn't start understanding it until I went to college and I met other people like me.
Okay. So
I began to hang out with them and start being comfortable in my sexuality. It still was a lot new to me because of the type of people that I hung around with in the community.
Right.
But it took my mother, it's nothing like a mother's love. And she accepted me. And there was a time I brought home several of the people that I was with in a relationship at the time, and she showed them no different. You know, she was loving and caring, conversation, didn't outcast them or give them any type of bad energy. My dad, on the other hand, he didn't approve it, so he didn't know how to accept it.
Right.
So what he would do was not be at home when I come home.
Got it.
And it bothered me for a long time. And I would want to ask questions, but there came a time where one time I came home and he wasn't there. And I just said to myself, I don't know, maybe God said it to me, but I just said that I'll leave him alone. He's ready to come around, I'll be here. I always would tell my mom before I leave, tell Dad I love him, or I'll write him a little note, or at that time he had his phone and he was very fluent in his phone, because it take them a little minute.
Right.
I would text him, and give him a message, but it was hard for my dad. And he did come around. One time he came to visit here, and he actually came in my house and asked me to fix my washing machine.
Okay.
And I didn't bring it up or make a big deal about it. I just and that was one of the examples of just get out of God's way and let the process do its thing.
Right.
Trying to control, Dad, why you won't? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Bible with it. All that wasn't necessary.
Right.
And he came around, and even now, before he passed, he embraced my wife.
I love that.
It blew me away, because we went to the house and he was like, take care of her. I know you're in good hands. You gonna take care of her, right? So it was a full circle. What I learned was that he may never have approved it, but he finally accepted it.
Right.
Sometimes you don't have to approve something to accept it, so it had its journey within itself with my lifestyle.
But I love that story, the fact that your dad, because at the end of the day you're still his baby girl, number one. You know what I mean? And to continue to love you and to support you, because I don't have children, but I know that if what you're doing is that you're not hurting anyone, put it that way. And so parents aren't always going to agree with certain aspects of our lives or lifestyles or whatever the case may be, but to love us still, I think that's really powerful. So I know that when you went away to college, though, after being a little bit sheltered, don't sound like too sheltered, you're in the house drinking beer and stuff, but a little bit sheltered, growing up as, a minister's child, preacher's kid, and then you went off to college. So what was that experience like, kind of being away from that more sheltered environment?
You want me to put all my business out?
Not all your business, but I want people to understand this woman who got to be where she is today. Because the reality of it is, we all have stories, and it's we look over here and we don't realize the trials and also the triumphs that get us to where we are. So that's why I want you to talk about it.
Well, I went to my first college. I went to was Concordia College in Selma, and it was freedom for me. And me and my best friend, we both got scholarships down there to go to school. I had a music scholarship, and I'm not quite sure what his was, but it was freedom. I got to go to the club. I got to hang out. It was freedom. It was so much freedom that I got to explore some things that I was sheltered from. And I got in a whole lot of trouble. I got kicked out the dorm my second year and stayed with a friend to finish my school year. When I left Concordia College. I went to Jacksonville State.
Okay.
And one weekend, we went back to Concordia to see our old friends that were there for orientation, because their orientation was kind of different from ours. So we was like, let's ride down there. And on the way down there, drinking Coke 45. Coke 45 said, you still got the key to the building, because I was a teacher's aide. Now, let me back up. One thing about me being a preacher's kid, I was able to win people over. I was able to make people like me. I was able to make people trust me. There was a part of me, because I was a preacher's kid and I had to put on this facade, that it became natural and normal and part of my personality. So when I went to junior college at Concordia, I gained favor from a lot of teachers.
Right.
And a lot of teachers, they really took to me, and they would take me to their house to eat and, you know, do extra things for me. And I became a teacher's aide and a teacher's assistant for biology and the computer class.
Wow.
And the teacher gave me the key so I could go in the building, in the classrooms, whenever I wanted to, because they trusted me.
Right.
So when we went that weekend to see our friends in orientation, I still had the key. And Code 45 say in the middle of the day to go in there and get you a computer. I went in the building in broad daylight, came out the front of the building in broad daylight, because Code 45 say you invisible. They don't see you. Put the computer on the back of the truck, covered it up with a blanket, and went on my day like ain't nothing happened. Went back to the school a week later, because I wasn't as invisible as Code 45 told me I was.
Right.
People saw me and they came and picked me up. Took me back to Selma, and I was locked up for the first time with a real crime.
Wow. Wow. That's something. So at what point did you wind up joining the military?
After college, after I left Jacksonville State, I came home as pretty much a failure because I didn't graduate.
Okay.
And I didn't do what I was supposed to do in college, period. You know, so I was on academic suspension. And I went home and I found myself wandering, going around from this group to that group, meeting people, staying out. I was lost for real. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And joining the military was a way to escape. I felt like I could save myself and I could make my parents proud.
Okay.
My dad was military.
Okay.
And I went ahead and I joined the military. Yeah, that's how I ended up there running.
Wow. I don't know if you knew, I was in the Air Force. I did 7 years in the Air Force. So yeah. The military, there are a lot of reasons to go. There are a lot of reasons why people end up there. So mine was, I figured it was a way to go to school and travel. But yeah, there's something. So did you do the full 4 years or 2 years or whatever?
I did the full 4 years, but because I was still running and searching, I got in trouble in the military.
Okay.
And then before I got in legal trouble, because I felt like if I stayed and I was doing what I was doing, then I would probably be in Fort Leavenworth.
Oh, no.
In jail. So I went on the overweight program.
Okay.
And failed the PT test 3 times so that I can get honorably discharged and keep my. So I was like, get out of here. And then what's the smartest way to get out of here? Because they weren't trying to let me go. I ended up being released about 4 months my 4 years being up.
Okay. So you always been brilliant, huh? How can I get out of here? Let me see.
Them plans didn't always work out though.
Yeah, but you have said many a time that you were running. What is it that you feel like you were running from at that time?
At the time, I just felt like I was running. I was hoping to run to whatever was going to define me. Because still, even though I knew that my sexuality, I was firm in my sexuality, I was still lost in my sexuality. Because when you go into being a lesbian, they got these rules, the dominants can't do this and the femmes can do that, and then you can't do this. And I just didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And not only with my sexuality, I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know what my dreams were. I didn't know what my interests were. And everything that I was interested in was always shot down. Okay. And that was my creativity. When I was in college, I used to draw the flyers for the stuff. And I was always drawing flyers. Stuff. And I was different. No, I was a different type of child. Like everything I've done has been different, from like piercing to having snakes to like everything. Even my hair color, like different, And I always felt like I was that different kind of child. And because I could not find my tribe growing up, growing up, I see kids that live in their individuality, and they have their sector and their tribe, but I didn't have my tribe. I spent my life trying to fit in. So when I was running, I think I wasn't necessarily running from, but I was trying to run to my people, my tribe, my comfort zone, me, the authentic me. And it took me a long time to stop running and to be okay with who I was. And it's just me. And I don't have to run no more.
You don't?
I don't have to try to fit in no more. And sometimes I still have that part of me that try to fit in certain situations. And I see myself just falling back in the background and just being quiet. And I'm learning that a lot of times when I'm just quiet, I'm quiet because that's me.
Right.
Not the me that's trying to fit in, because that person can be up front all the time. But quiet me is me. It's also like a safety thing for me too, to keep me from trying to fit in.
Right.
This just not your tribe, Yolanda. Just sit back. So,
and that's smart. Sometimes you sit back and observe, and it'll teach you a whole lot about what's happening around you. So, wow. So after you got out of the military, is that when you moved to Atlanta?
No, after I got out of the military, I did a lot of moving around.
Got it.
Different places, still committing crimes, from checks to credit cards to theft to drug sales, whatever I can do, because I wasn't going back home, because home had rules and I was following the rules. I done did that before, and that's not what I wanted to do. So me being out on the streets was my choice. And I went as far as living pillar to post to sleeping on sidewalks. There's a place in Atlanta that was like one of the roughest places. It was called Techwood.
Okay.
And Techwood was a project, but it was on the verge of being torn. There was a lot of abandoned buildings over there, but I could have went home. But because I didn't want to go home, I chose to stay outside. Or just find random people to stay with, because I didn't want to go home. And home wasn't that bad. It's just that I didn't want to, being a preacher's kid sometimes can make you run from being a preacher's kid. So I went from pillar to post to cardboard boxes, Salvation Army showers. I've done soup line kitchens. But while I was out moving around, I was actually in New York, in Watertown, New York. And I don't even know how I ended up there.
Yeah, that seems really random. Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't even know how I do know how I ended up there. A friend of mine was in the military. His wife was Korean, and because I speak a little Korean, and we knew each other when I was in Korea, and I knew his wife in Korea, he asked me to come and stay up there. And I stole from her. I don't even know why I stole from her, and it wasn't just. I was just lost, and so she put me out, and I was laying in the hotel because the Salvation Army got a hotel for me. And I was laying in the hotel, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? And I had family here in Atlanta, but I didn't have the courage to call them. And what I'm gonna say, living the life I was living, like they gonna let me come stay there. I just took $10 out this lady's purse. Got put out. I think it was $5. Anyway, so I said I'm gonna go there. I just said it. I said I'm gonna go to Atlanta. They were giving away one-way tickets.
Okay.
And I said I'm gonna go to Atlanta because I can get a job, live in my sexuality.
True.
And I caught the bus, and I had 2 suitcases, stuff I had stole, clothes. They were nice too. But I came down here, and I stayed 3 days in the bus station. The bus station on Peachtree with the Burger King in it. And I stayed in the bus station for 3 days. And my clothes got stolen. And I didn't know what to do. So I had to come up on money, panhandling, and sorry,
Okay,
came up on money to get a hotel room. And that's how I got to Atlanta.
Okay. And at some point after that is when you wound up in a situation of going to prison.
For some reason, I can't hear you. No.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay. Maybe when it cut. Make sure. Everyone, can you all hear me? Maybe something happened when you went out. Let's try that again. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me okay now?
You can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh, wow. Try it. Let's see. Can you go out and come back? Okay, they can hear both of us, but you can't hear me.
No.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, everybody's saying they can hear both of us, but you can't hear me.
You want me to go in on another device?
See if you can. Everybody, hold on for a second. That's technology for you. Whatever that little glitch was must have knocked
got me
out.
Over here, all emotional and stuff.
No.
Why the sound went out.
Oh goodness! But that's
it's like don't be crying on the camera. Let me see.
She can't hear what I'm saying, but I'm probably gonna start crying before it's all said and done, y'all. So we'll just give you a moment to get your sound together. Yes. People are like, it's good. Well, she's not
right.
looking up. But let's see. She's like, yeah, it's so good. We'll give her just a second. But that's technology. Thank you for everyone for holding on. There's, hey, Daria. I can't wait to meet you in person.
Okay. Let me try and.
Let's see here. And they say we all over here crying.
Get it on this one.
Yes. So thank you, everybody. This y'all, can you all see why I wanted to have Yolanda here? And Daria, you know,
right.
you know. Yes. We'll get it here in just a second. Mm-hmm. So while we're waiting for her to get back in, as you can see at the bottom, her different places where you can follow Yolanda are scrolling at the bottom, including her brand new store where you can buy some shirts and other things similar to the shirt that she's wearing at the evidence. Yes, absolutely. She is the evidence.
So let me get the link.
All right.
Again.
So, yeah. But yes, please go there, follow her, because one of the things that she does on her social media is get
Marcie, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. But she gives a lot of inspirational messages and just really.
Can you send me the link again?
I sure can. Sure can. Let me do that again. But yeah, she does a lot of just wonderful things, and the work that she does with Girl Trip, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Yeah, this is why I wanted to have her here. So you all just bear with us for a second for the technical difficulty, and then we will go from there. So thank you all for your patience. Okay. All right, let's see here.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it. Yep.
Yes, Daria. Yes, the I am the evidence.shop. Yes. Okay, let's see here.
I guess I'm gonna have to switch.
I think whatever happened when it blanked out.
This ever happened before?
I've had those who watch before. I've had other things happen.
Girl, all the time. Don't
This
even worry about
it. This isn't the worst of it.
Okay.
This is not the worst of it.
Entering the studio.
Yes, this is not the worst of it at all. So you are good, and everybody wants to hear what you have to say, so they will be patient. And while they're waiting, they are shopping. We need them to go shopping. Yes, we need them to shop. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let me turn that one off. Okay. Can you hear me now? I can't. Oh, wait a minute. I'm hearing hold on. Can you hear me now? Okay. She's going to go to the other one. 1 second. Yeah, we were getting to the good. All of it's good, but yeah, we're about to dive in a little more. Let's see. So while we're waiting for her, where is everybody joining us from? I know there's several Atlanta folks in the room, but where are any of you joining us from other places? Just let us know. While we're waiting here. Detroit, okay. All right. Yes, Jean, good to have you here with us. So let's see. Looks like she's coming back. Almost. Okay, here we go. Here we go. She's back. All right, we're back. She's back. All right, we're back. Okay, let me turn that one. I'm gonna kick the other one out so we don't have the echo. Okay, can you hear me okay now?
I got you.
Woo, we did it. Woohoo. All right. Okay, now we've got Jean is joining. I was asking people where they were joining us from. We got Detroit. We got your BFF in Covington. I said I was gonna shout her out. That's my nail girl, Nail Slayer in Brookhaven. See the nails? Yes, yes. She laughs at me because I talk with my hands, but I'm showing off your work, girl. So, so yes, and of course your sweetie Daria. So, everyone was patient, and you might have missed it. Some of the things people were saying, you truly are the evidence, you are the truth, all those things. We were talking about your store, so we kept it rolling.
I appreciate it.
No worries. We know we love you over here. So, yeah, my girl, I told you I was going to shout you out. Nail Slayer. Look her up. She does excellent work here in Atlanta. But yes, we were, you went through all of these different life experiences. And then there was a point where something happened that landed you where you wound up going to prison. So if you don't mind just telling us kind of like what that was and like what was the amount of time that you got when you were sentenced to go.
What led me to prison was when I got to Atlanta, I did get a job, but I still was in a criminal lifestyle, doing all kind of things, definitely living a career criminal life. And one of the things that I did was burglary and armed robbery. And I committed an armed robbery and kidnapping.
Oh no, not again. Okay, there we go.
A kidnapping charge that led me to doing 6 years in prison.
Okay.
And those 6 years, they were offering me 70 years because it was 5 counts of kidnapping and 1 count of armed robbery. The number God, because I didn't actually do the robbery and because I masterminded that they called it, it was dropped to robbery and false imprisonment. And false imprisonment in Georgia, if you hold a minor against their will, it goes under the Sex Offender Act.
Okay.
And because I paroled out to Alabama, I was not considered a sex offender. My co-defendant paroled out here. And she had to live her life under the sex offender status because one of the people that were put in the freezer was 15 years old, 16 years old. And I'm grateful that I didn't have to live the status of a sex offender. Her and our relationship, we're good friends. And I had to go through her being angry at me because of what she had to go through by paroling out here under that status. But going to prison, I went to prison in Pulaski State Prison in Georgia.
Okay.
And because of my personality, as I described prior to, people gravitate toward me. In and out of jail, in and out of jail, in and out of jail. I met some officers that kind of took me under their wing when I wasn't in jail. And when I was in jail, they looked out for me. And I'm grateful for them that they didn't judge me while I was out and still allowed me to hang out with them and kind of mentor me indirectly, and not judge me at all. So when I got to prison, I did a year here at DeKalb County. And when I went to prison, officers gravitated to me there too. So my time in prison, it was hard. It was hard mentally. It was hard emotionally. But I can say that because of my relationships I developed with officers and people in there, that I had support. It was hard on my family. I didn't want them to come and visit a lot. I knew that my parents had my siblings. So coming to see me once on my birthday was enough. And I also felt like I didn't deserve for them to come see me all the time. I kept my parents praying. Kept them praying. I'm sure they stayed up many nights worried about me. So when I would get letters from them, I appreciated it. I got out appreciating my parents a whole lot more, and not taking them for taking advantage of their love for me, and knowing that the things that they did it because they loved me.
Right.
So prison itself, it was what really set me down and turned me around and gave me the opportunity to pause and look at me. And I realized I was like, I got too much potential to be in here. Absolutely. Too much potential to be in prison. And I did the crime, and I deserved the time that I got. I didn't deserve the treatment that I got in there.
Okay.
It's adjusting to a whole nother world. Having to go from freedom to having to ask for everything, having to being told, I remember my first day there going to eat at the dining hall, and it's infested with mosquitoes all over the place, and having to eat like this real fast. So the mosquitoes, I don't eat them, or they don't get on my food, or, it's, I wouldn't wish prison on anybody.
Right.
It's not the solution. It's not, like isolation don't mean rehabilitation. It's just not the solution. And I got a funny feeling that I can't hear you again.
I hope not. Can you? I'm talking. Can you hear me? Can't. Oh no, not again. Oh goodness.
It's okay, because I'm just gonna log back in.
Okay.
And y'all can have a commercial.
Have a commercial break.
And shout out to people. It's all right.
It's all right. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, something that when
that
screen goes black, it knocks the sound out, which isn't a good thing. But as Yolanda was saying, it's not a place
I'm going to log back in.
Would want to be or should want to be.
Tell the people I say hey and I'm sorry.
Oh, they can hear you. They just can't hear you. Can't hear me. But yes, just the fact of, and that's part of the reason also why I wanted her here, because we really need to, think about the systems and the things that are in place that we can support people, to help them perhaps not land in the carceral state, but also how can we support them when they're in the carceral state, and continue to support them once they are no longer there. So can you hear me now? Oh, that phone, if there's something when that phone goes black, it knocks us out. So I don't know if somebody's trying to call you or something.
I got on do not disturb. I think that was my take my medicine alarm.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna affect it. I apologize.
Yeah. And Daria said the devil big man, he don't want this testimony. Oh, it's gonna go forth. It's gonna go forth. It is going forth. If we have to stay here till 9:30 to get it in, it's gonna go forth because Yolanda, yes. And I'll just quick sidebar. When I met you last year, and you're right, because people will be like, who is this woman with this hair that's red on and black on the other? And she got her little swag going on, like, who is this? But then once I got a chance to start really getting to know you, it's like I fell in love. Daria, we good, but not that kind of way. But I fell in love with Yolanda because she is just such an awesome, wonderful, beautiful person inside and out. So as you were saying, the whole thing about prison, and it's not a place that's really set up. Oh no, not again.
What the fuck?
Oh, we heard you.
Wait a minute.
I heard that. Well, this is grown folks, so it's okay. But it's not a place that's set up, for anyone. It's not about the rehabilitation. It's about so many other things. And yeah, we really need to tune in. And also, a lot of times I know that when we think of prison or we hear about prison, it's the exception of maybe certain TV shows or whatever, we think about it from the perspective of what's happening with the men in our lives and understanding that it is, something that women deal with as well. And that the experience of prison for women is a different type of experience. So please, I know you caught the last of that. I was waiting for you. So from the perspective of being a woman that's incarcerated, what do you see as being different from a woman's side than what it might be for what men experience?
I know with women, what I personally experienced in prison was women not sticking together. Not at all. The men will stick together. I don't care if it's from pill paw to commissary or not being able to go outside. They will stick together as a unit. Now they have their divisions within that, but if it's something right. About the prison system, the change, or anything that's going on as far as the system goes and in their facility, they stick together. Women, we didn't stick together. And I don't know if that's just a woman thing, because I see it out in society. Two Black women can't get along. Why?
Right.
Here we are all in this one facility. It's us against the staff. Why we can't come together and make them listen to us? So that was one thing that I noticed as far as women go that's different from men. And that's actually the main thing, because men got more things done. They got more privilege. We saw the same fights. They probably weren't as brutal as men, but I see over a pack of cigarettes that was old girl walking down the sidewalk, and another one came by and sliced her ear off. So, it's just as brutal as fights. I've never been in a men's facility, but as far as women go, I know that our main thing was we didn't stick together.
That's interesting, but not surprising at the same time. So what is it that people can do that can support women that may be in prison, whether it's an auntie, a cousin, a daughter, a mama, whatever the case may be? What are some of the things that we can do to support women and girls? Because we know there's this whole prison to pipeline, school to prison pipeline thing going on. What can we do that would really be able to support people who find themselves in that situation?
To support people that are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated, the first thing is don't judge them. Because one bad decision can cause anybody to go to prison. I was incarcerated with people that were there for vehicular homicide. Mm. And they were doing long bids off an accident. Mm. I've seen people, I know people that have been in there at 15 from a fight, and the girl died. Mm. And that wasn't the intention to kill. So the first thing I can say is don't judge, because it could have been you. Right. You know, I'm sure there's been plenty of things that we've done where anything could have went left. That's true. Another thing I would say to support them is give them a fair opportunity. We served our time in there. We shouldn't have to come out here and serve a whole nother sentence about something that we've paid our dues for. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I do know that everybody that goes to prison and don't come out changed. Right. And everybody that comes out of prison is not always on the right path. You know what I mean? They may be used to that, or that's all they know is the crime life and going back to prison, back and forth. But everybody deserves a fair shot. Mm-hmm. Everybody deserves a fair shot. And everybody, we look at people being justice impacted because they were in prison or out of prison. But if you wrote somebody in prison, you're impacted too. Mm-hmm. If you have a cousin it affects everybody. The mm-hmm. absence and incarceration of someone affects more than just the person and the immediate family. And a lot of people don't know that when people get out of prison, the family has to adjust too. Mm-hmm. Because now they're meeting someone either different or new or have been gone. They have to adjust. Mm-hmm. You know, it was different. It was different when I came out because so much time had passed. My siblings had grown up. I wasn't there for them. I didn't know them. I had to get to know them all over again, and not knowing, like, it was just different. Mind you, me going home and paroling out at home, I hadn't been there in a long time because I left, and then when I got back, I left again, and when I got back, I left again. So mm-hmm. me going home for just that 1 month, it was different. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm grateful that my parents embraced me. My dad didn't, and I'm grateful that a lot of times I see people get out and the family try to control what they do. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do this, or don't do that. You need to go over here. You need to get up and go. It's still our decision. When I got, and I told my parents, and I knew my parents did not want to hear that I was leaving, mm-hmm. and moving back to Atlanta. I knew they didn't want to hear that. Right. But I'm grateful that my dad got me a blanket, went to Sam's, got me some stuff, mm-hmm. prayed for me on the way out the door. Mm. And I believe that they saw something in me, that I wasn't going back to doing the same thing that I had done. When I was in prison, I forgave my father. Because I hated him for so long after my parents got back together. For the way that he punished us. It was borderline abuse. You know, my mom had to step in and say, "You're not disciplining no more." Right. You know, and I carried that anger and that hatred for so long. And if I could say one thing I got from a counselor in prison was, she said, "Your dad only did what he knew." That's true. That's all he knew. My brain said, "Well, I know he don't watch TV and know what abuse is. I don't know. He need to know something else." Right. But, and it freed me. And I wrote him a letter and I told him that I forgive him for all of that. So when I got home and I saw him, it was just different. Right. You know, and for him to hug me and even in the letter, I told him about my lifestyle. But when I came home, well, when I would come home before, I would bring somebody with me.
Right.
But I guess because I was by myself, you know, he was loving and kind, and he was present.
Right.
And then plus I had been gone for a while. But they didn't try to control my decision of what I did when I got out.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that a lot. You know,
Yeah.
when people get out of prison, they try to control because they know best, but it's our life.
Right. Right.
It's our choice. And we've been there, so we know what that is.
Right.
So allow us to make our own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's important, to be, you know, your own person, you know, and people aren't always going to necessarily like the person that you are, but it's like you said, it's your choice. But I really, and we are going to go a little bit over because we had them technical difficulties.
Commercial breaks.
Yes. You're just testing my metal. Like, can I entertain the peoples while my guest is not there? But in the time, when was it that how long have you been out?
I got out in 2005.
Okay, so we're at 19 years.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's 19 years.
Wow.
In that 19 years, I look at those things that I said at the very beginning, all the stuff that you're doing now. So how is it that, you know, you went from that person that wasn't sure and didn't know and was really trying to find yourself and all those sorts of things to now being a person who does graphics, who cuts hair, who does crypto, who hosts podcasts, who, you know, has this whole t-shirt company and has time to, you know, to do brilliant work on behalf of Girl Track. How do we get from there? I know 19 years is a long time, but how is it that you were able to find yourself, how can I put it, in a way that's multifaceted? Well, you're not a one-trick pony, as they would say.
Yeah, I don't know. When I first got out, I just felt like I wasted a lot of times and I needed to make up. So I took off running, really. And after a while, I realized that I couldn't make up for that time. So just do what you like. And you don't have to ask permission nobody to do what you like. You grown. You can do whatever it is you want to do. So my first job was a sign shop. And I'm big on customer service. And I guess that's in my personality. So I built relationships with the customers. And I was like, I could do this at home. Bought me a plotter. You know, bought me some items, some machinery and stuff, and start doing that. And then it just got to a point where it's like, I really can do anything.
That's somebody just said, Michael just said that. So yeah, she could do everything.
So when they told me that because I was I was going to prove these people wrong. They said because of my status being formerly incarcerated and an ex-felon, there were so many things I couldn't do. They told me I couldn't vote. I was like, oh no, I'm going to vote. And it was Obama's first term. And a lot of times I realized that with people formerly incarcerated, if people say you can't do something, we automatically take that and be like, yeah, you're right, because I'm formerly incarcerated. But I was like, nah, I filled out the voter registration and got approved and went and voted and then went to DC for the inauguration. Yes. So that was like a turning point for me. I was like, nobody can't tell me I can't do something. And sometimes there are times when I doubt my own self. But because I built myself around some supportive people that believe in me when I don't believe in me, they give me that push so that I can accomplish whatever my dreams are. Whether I'm nervous, whether I'm walking and I don't know where I'm going, they give me that confidence. And I realize that my circle, the people around me, they carry me when I fall. They carry me when I can't carry myself. They help me believe in me when I doubt myself. And I do a whole lot of doubting of myself because I feel like I failed so much in the beginning that sometimes that past come back. And I just be like, sometimes I don't even think stuff is for me, that blessings are for me. And I get scared. And sometimes I don't want to push the button on stuff or like that, go ahead and do it. Because I don't be believing it's for me. But it's big that people like surround themselves with people that truly, truly support and believe in them. They have definitely helped me put one foot in front of the other when I doubted myself. I'm a preacher's kid, been to prison, addicted to marijuana, dealt with addiction, like did all kind of drugs, slept in a cardboard box, ran from home, dropped out of school, got put out of school, like all this stuff. And then when I got my LLC for Shidu Graphics, I was like, what? I did that?
Yes.
Like all the things that I've accomplished, sometimes before I actually live in the reality, I don't think it's for me. I just don't. I just had it. And I don't know what it is. And I deal with this on a daily basis. Like I live doubting myself sometimes. But I got so much evidence around me.
Yes.
That let me know that I can accomplish something. You know, that I'm really not that bad of a person.
Absolutely not.
You know, I have to tell myself that, you know, and I'm just grateful for my support system. Grateful for my parents. You know, my parents were multi-talented and multi-skilled and did a whole lot of things. And I don't know if I got it from them, but I'm grateful that they didn't give up on me and that they didn't get in my way. I'm grateful for that.
Yes, and we are so grateful for you. So I am the evidence. You're wearing the shirt. You know, it's your tagline on social media. When did that become your statement?
When I filed my business, Shidu Graphics, with the state, and I did it. I finally did it because I would work under the table for a long time. And I have this Facebook group that has like a little over 800 women that are formerly incarcerated from Georgia mostly. And that was like my community. I did a lot of networking with them. We would do reunions and stuff. And I would hear conversations about the I can't. They won't let me. I can't. I tried. I can't. And when I got my business, and one of my friends, she came out hitting the road too, and on clubs and all kind of entertainment stuff. And when I got my business, I was like, and I would hear that I can't, and I'm like, no, because I'm the evidence that you can. I'm the evidence that you can. I'm talking about, I'm the evidence that you can do anything. Like walk 5 miles around Stone Mountain. From little as that, you know what I mean, to opening your own business, from being homeless, from healing from depression, and like, I'm the evidence that you really can. So I try to give a hope shot on a daily basis to people in everything I do. You know, when I do my stories, like I'm always trying to give somebody type of motivation or inspiration that we don't do stuff based on how we feel.
Right.
You know, I even have to tell myself that sometimes. So I'm not just the evidence. It's about being resilient, a second chance, accomplishing, surviving. You know, people that have cancer, they're the evidence of being a cancer survivor. That somebody can survive it.
Right.
You know, so that's what I am the evidence is. So when somebody wear that shirt, they showing people that they the evidence of something, of whatever it is. You know, it can be as simple as saving your money, opening a bank account, you know, coming from homelessness, you know, having your evidence of having your first job, having evidence of being a high school dropout and now owning your own business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that that's something that the world needs, to be able to know that they can accomplish something. Because if you quit, you don't have a chance.
That's right.
If you don't quit, you at least got a chance, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it comes from.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, you'll have to go back and watch this so you can catch all the comments. But you talking about you was gonna cry, girl. I'm about to sit up here and cry. I'm gonna cry for you because I knew that bringing you here, I just knew it. That I mean, you inspire me, and that whole thing. I am the evidence because you know whether we have been in your shoes or whatever shoes we've been in, everybody has something. That's something that maybe is a fear, that space where maybe they don't have courage to do a thing. I mean, even, hey, let's just keep it real. Me being here with you doing this right now, that took some courage for me to do that, to make a decision, you know, because Brown Girl Collective has been around for a good while. And in the early years, you didn't see my face. But 4 years ago, I said, hey, I want to start doing some things with books and, you know, powerful women such as yourself, and you know, go online and you know, just have all of these stories that can be told and be shared to encourage others. So I am the evidence that getting past your fear, you know, at my big age, not formally trained in what I'm doing in this space, that I am the evidence that it can be done. So yes, I'm gonna get me one of them shirts.
Thank you, sis. Thank you.
But I am not going to keep you here all night, I promise. But I did want to ask you, I cannot let you go and not talk about Girl Trek, because that's where we work together. So with Girl Trek, your formal, I should say, title is National Field Director for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women. So what exactly does that role entail?
My role with Girl Trek, okay, because so you know the Girl Trek mission is to extend life expectancy for Black women 10 years. Our new mission now is 10 years within 10 years. Mm-hmm. And what people don't know is that incarceration shortens your life expectancy. For every year someone's locked up, it takes 2 years off your life. Mm-hmm. So my purpose is to get those women that are formerly incarcerated and those that are incarcerated, dealing with mostly transitional home women right now, to get them to start walking and practicing self-care, because the system took and shortened our life expectancy. So we need to get it back. Mm-hmm. And every time that I'm out in the field with those women, my total mission is to get them to a place where they realize that we're now taking back what the system took from us. Mm-hmm. So we walk and we talk and we solve problems.
Absolutely. That's what we do.
That's so my goal is to really get those women acclimated into just walking in, and we don't have to ask permission anymore. Mm-hmm. The whole time in prison, we had to ask for everything. Mm-hmm. They didn't just take our freedom; they took years off our life, man. Right. So, I'm on a mission, you know, for those women that society tends to forget about. You know, mm-hmm. they don't, you know, for grants and changing policies, and we have people advocating. But I advocate for them to take back their own life. And they don't have to have a grant for that. Right. They don't have to fill out an application for that. All they got to do is take 15 minutes, walk 15 minutes out, and turn around and walk 15 minutes back. Yes. And I hear the testimonies of how it changes their life. One of the groups that I walk with, we have a moment where we talk about, how you feeling this morning? Give me one word. Sometimes I ask them, what are you grateful for? And they can say only one or two things, but after the walk and the talk, they come back about 4 or 5 things. They are hyped up, ready to go. And I'll be like, well, would you look at this? So, mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, I definitely had to have you share that because that work is so important, and you're getting an opportunity to go out and talk to people around the country, across the country. You gave a speech in DC not too long ago, at an event there. So Yolanda is doing great work in that atmosphere as well. And, because of course we both work for the same organization. So, we both firmly believe in the power of, changing lives one step at a time. So absolutely wanted to mention that. But in addition to your walking, what other kind of things do you do for self-care? Those I know you do more than just walking.
I am learning. My wife is teaching me to take a break, to relax. So when I get overwhelmed, I have a VR headset.
Okay.
And I go in my VR world and I play one of the games where I put puzzles together.
Oh, wow.
Puzzles. But outside of that, I do love the gym. I don't always be in the gym working out and sweating, but I work out. It just takes me a little longer because it's relaxing and it's therapeutic. Barbering is therapeutic for me. And walking the mountain, the fresh air is therapeutic for me. So a lot of the things I do that are therapeutic, outside of all the work, it pretty much involves taking care of my body and my mental. And then when I'm not doing that, we watching Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, we having some me time.
Okay.
Me time. So yeah, I didn't know how to pause. I didn't know how to stop. And I'm grateful that God gave me somebody that teaches me how to. It's okay to stop. It's okay to take a break. So
absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you, Daria. That is so important. And remember what? Well, for those of you who have been watching since the beginning, I said at the very beginning, when I talk about Live Well Sister, Yolanda, that's Yolanda. Because, all those different things, the relationship, she's got the right supportive, system in her life. She's got great friends, she's walking in her purposes. Because there's more than one, we didn't talk about the money stuff. She's into all of that. She is the evidence that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Yes, I had to throw a little spirituality in there. But she's such a powerful person and inspirational person. And reason why I started where she is, kind of went through what she's been through back to where she is, because I just think that it's powerful for all of us to see the trajectory of this one woman's life and learn and be inspired by her and her life and all of the things that she has accomplished up to this point. And I know you're not done yet, sis. You ain't done. Because you got like 12 jobs and you probably got room for at least 2 or 3 more, like that book. Because earlier on, I'm telling you, earlier on, she was like, I haven't read any book. I'm like, the book is in you and I know it's coming. So I know people watch this that might be, agents and book agents and all that kind of stuff. So yes. Somebody might watch this that be like, hey, we need to get this down on paper. But I do appreciate you so much, Yolanda. You are a blessing. It's a blessing to know you, for the short time that I have known you. And, I pray that I'll be able to bring you back when that book is out. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Or, other things. And for everyone who's watching, thank you so much. You got all your supportive sisters in the room, and, some other folks who probably didn't know who you were, who now they do. So I just encourage everyone to, as you see at the bottom, all her Facebook, her Instagram, her store, all of that is there. But before, this is my nail girl. I'm going to keep saying that. That's my nail girl. Shadika, she wear the book title so well, yes. I'm saying. So, so are there any closing words or thoughts? I'm gonna let you have the last word.
No, I just appreciate this opportunity. Telling my story also helped me. I did expose some things that I hadn't talked about, and it was freeing, but to remind me from where I came from. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you for seeing something in me. You know, I read the post and I was like, wow, she made me feel like I was important. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely appreciate on a serious tip though, because oftentimes we forget our past and where we come from. So for me to be able to tell it makes me appreciate where I am a lot more. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So everybody, that's all I got. That's all we have. And thank God for technology held on so we could finish it up. Thank you.
No commercial breaks.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, for that. We appreciate that. But yes, so Yolanda, don't hang up, but I'm gonna let you grab some water or whatever, and I'm gonna come and say goodbye to you. So hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. So everyone, that was such a wonderful time for me. You know, I love Yolanda, as I said, and I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to meet her, to be in her world, to watch her do what she do and do it well. She do graphics and a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm just so grateful for her, grateful that she, you know, was willing to take a chance on me and come here and be in this space, as I did not give her questions in advance. So, hey. Yeah, we did the doggone thing. So now, of course, next week is going to be a night off because it is Juneteenth, and we are not working on Juneteenth. So I look forward to seeing you all again in a couple of weeks, which will be the 26th on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And that particular guest is the author of the book Hood Wellness. So be on the lookout for the information about the post and, you know, about the upcoming show, and enjoy your free-ish day off next Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you all real soon. Love you much. Take great care of yourselves and continue to live well. All right. Bye-bye.